League's newest patch has completely changed the way jungle is going to be played. Jungle spawn timers are being increased, comeback XP is back, and even smite damage is being fundamentally changed for the first time in League's history. But don't worry, as our challenger experts have got you covered. In this video, we'll be breaking down the changes, what they actually mean, and how they will affect you and the meta moving forward. By the end of this guide, you'll have all the tools you need to start crushing solo queue, rank up, and leaving the enemy team saying better jungler wins. Now for our question of the day. What do you guys think of Riot changing the jungle every season? Do you like how it keeps the game fresh and changes the meta for new playstyles, or do you find it to be a nuisance and does more harm than good? Let us know in the comments below, as we're genuinely really curious what the community thinks about this. Alright, so starting off with the first and by far the most significant change, camp respawn timers are going from 2 minutes to 2 minutes and 15 seconds. A 15-second difference may not seem like much, but this is actually a massive deal. Prior to these changes, the meta was clearly defined and rather optimized. High elo players and professional play mostly sees champions that are capable of full clearing extremely quickly. Champions like Morgana, Diana, Rumble, and more that easily meet the 315 mark doing full clears dominate, while champions like Elise, Sejuani, and Graves, who tend to clear a bit more slowly, are seen far less often. There are a couple of reasons for this. First is that when camps have a lower timer of 2 minutes instead of the new 215, there exists a sort of opportunity cost to going to gank. If you gank bot and your topside camps are up, the enemy should come and take it, making your gank much higher risk and lower reward. If your champion is slow to clear, this means that the window of time where you could make a play on the opposite side of the map is extremely limited, while champions that farmed quickly would have an extended period of time to do so. This highly incentivized clearing at your camps at a fast pace, and then going to gank. If you clear slowly and finish your clear on the 330 or later mark, you really don't have enough time to actually do anything. By the time you take crab and recall, your camps are already coming back up around the 4-minute mark, and you can't stay on the same side or you risk losing the game right then and there. The key to climbing solo queue and winning professional games is and always has been consistency, and it's extremely hard to be consistent when you need to rely on ganks, an inherently risky event, to stay even. This is why the meta prior to this patch was defined by junglers with a fast clear speed, and it's also why these changes are so important. Riot has addressed this problem by upping spawn timers. This means that champions will no longer be time gated based on the ability to clear camps, and almost everyone will have a chance to actually get a gank without just losing their camps for free. Instead, we will now be gated on our ability to impact the map. Since everyone will get a window to gank now, you need to actually have the tools to do it. This will make champions that relied on getting level leads and outfarming the NA jungler, like Karthus, Udyr, Morgana, all lose strength as they can't just full clear and reset to their camps to stay ahead while waiting for the enemy to waste their time. There will be a mandatory section of downtime after your full clear, where you'll be forced to wait around if you don't have an available gank, dive, or invade. For laners, this means that you need to really take note of where the enemy jungler starts, and make sure to be very cautious of getting ganked around crab timer for about 45 seconds, as this is going to be the period of time where junglers don't have anything to do but gank you. For junglers, you'll have more time to contest double crab, and it'll be more important than before, since you're fighting over a more limited resource when it comes to the overall number of camps available. This doesn't mean that full clear champions will be useless, however. A few seasons ago, Lee Sin and Elise dominated the meta at a time where camps respawned in 230, and now with the shift to 215, Riot is attempting to find a balance between the ganking and farm meta and add some more depth to decision making within the role. Because of this, champions that excel at both ganking and farming are what we expect to become quite strong. This includes things like Rek'Sai, Kindred, Kha'Zix, Nunu, and the like. And don't worry, we'll be releasing a guide on the strongest junglers shortly after the patch goes live. Speaking of which, the best way to keep up with the new jungle meta and crush opponents is with our hyper improvement system at SkillCapped.com. We have professional courses by the top players, brand new Smurf commentaries each week where a challenger player walks you through how to climb out of every rank from Iron to Diamond, elite coaching from trained experts, and we upload tons of new exclusive guides you can only find on our website each week. In fact, we're so confident you'll improve using our system that if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped, you can claim a full refund, so there's no risk. What are you waiting for? Check out SkillCapped.com and get the rank you've always wanted, link in the description below. Now, even though increasing the spawn timers by 15 seconds should be overall beneficial for increasing jungle diversity within the role, we expect that junglers will overall get less experience than before as a side effect. Riot is adding compensation gold buffs to make up for the lower number of camps that will be farmed, but the camps aren't increased proportional to the old value. For example, Gromp is only getting a 5 gold buff, while Wolves are getting a 10 gold buff. This means that Riot is also trying to sneakily attempt to shift over value from the camps on the edges of the map, Gromp and Krugs, into camps in the center, Wolves and Raptors. However, this brings up a whole new set of problems. For example, the 15-second increase in spawn timers equates to 12% less experience than before. And even though it's cool we're getting some more gold, there aren't any buffs to experience, meaning that at the end of the day, you'll just be missing out on 12% of your XP. Junglers will overall be weaker, not relative to each other, but relative to the other roles like top, mid, and AD carry. Expect to fall a little bit further behind in levels compared to your solo lanes especially. This slightly shifts away from a focus on junglers being solo carries and more into a supportive role designed to get their teammates ahead. This is further supported by the next big change, a phrase that sends shivers down the spine of older junglers: comeback experience, which makes, well, a comeback. When down at least 2 levels when compared to the average level of all players in the game, you'll now get increased experience from large and epic monsters. These camps will grant 50 additional experience more per level below the average level of the game. This roughly translates to about 40% more experience when down by 2 levels, and around an additional 20% increase for each subsequent level you're behind. Being 2+ levels down is a large amount, so you shouldn't really play to intentionally fall behind to use it, as plays will be much harder. But this will help you remain relevant when your lanes lose their towers and the enemy starts taking your camps from a quadrant. The changes will give junglers a bit more padding when it comes to falling super far behind, but will also significantly reduce your ability to play for a jungle experience lead since you can't really go up 3 to 4 levels anymore. In order to adapt, your playstyle needs to shift from focusing on shutting down the enemy jungler and starving them out, to now trying to impact laners and set them behind, as junglers will basically always be able to stay 1 or 2 levels behind the average level of the game. Since junglers for the most part will not be the highest level in the game anyways, it will mostly keep you up to speed with your laners and have the byproduct of both junglers being around the same level. In short, dives and ganks are increased in value, and counter jungling is lowered. This doesn't mean that it's bad, but your own ability to snowball and play for your own lead is definitely reduced. As much as we hate to say it, this means that dragons are definitely going to be more important on this patch, as snowballing is much harder and you're likely to need some sort of insurance when it comes to closing the game. Heavy ganking and assassin champions will be much better than before, but those champions mostly relied on getting ahead through kills anyways, and from behind don't operate super well. This means that our biggest winners from this change will likely be tanks and other low economy champions who scale relatively well and just struggle to keep up when clearing against power farmers. Fighters and skirmishers will still be able to use their strength to bully around the other jungler, it just won't carry out throughout the entire game. Smite is being standardized. Higher level players were able to invade and use a small level lead as leverage to outsmite the enemies on their camps. Riot decided to change this and made Smite flat 450 damage until the completion of your jungle item. After using enough smites to finish your jungle item quest, you'll upgrade straight to 900. This is a 100 damage nerf when it comes to securing objectives in the late game, making you much more vulnerable to losing Baron to things like Orianna combo, Jinx Rocket, and other large damaging abilities. On top of this, a level lead doesn't mean anything when it comes to outsmiting objectives. This means that you can't rely on being ahead to help you secure them, and need to focus instead on actually keeping enemies away from them altogether. For any laners watching this, don't rely on your jungler to secure objectives. Instead, just focus on starting fights that are good for you and treat every Smite fight as a complete coin flip, even more so than before. This does mean that you'll get a hefty boost to your mid-game objective securing abilities though, at least if the other jungler isn't around. So look for picks or when they're across the map to guarantee your plays. Additionally, Smite breaks through Scuttle Crab's shield now, which is a huge help for champions that previously had to spend ages on Crab, once again giving us more time to gank on champions like Lilia, Kindred, and Kha'Zix amongst others. To compensate for this increase in Smite strength, jungle camps are being slightly buffed in health to slow down the clears a bit, but this is mostly inconsequential and will probably go unnoticed. The bigger change is the reduction of damage that all camps will be doing. Across the board, you'll just take less damage, and this makes jungle clearing much less about tactics to reduce damage, but instead clear as fast as possible. It will become more friendly for lower level players, but you'll still need to focus on skills like kiting and doing 2 camps at the same time in order to optimize your clear speed and take advantage of the increased amount of time to gank. Tanks will love this change, as they'll be less prone to early invades due to being higher health, and any other weak early game champions will appreciate this as well. Omnivamp is getting a slight nerf, which will help to keep high damage characters from being at full HP their entire clear, but overall won't really change much when you factor in the reduced damage you'll be taking from camps anyways. Smite, on the other hand, received a 50% increase in the amount of health you'll get back from using it on a camp. This is a huge buff for players that are able to smite mid-fight, as 15% is an extremely large number that shouldn't be underestimated. If you've never looked to use Smite on nearby camps just for the healing, then consider it now more than ever before. So what does this all mean? Just to recap, full clears are going to be slightly nerfed, while ganking junglers and tanks will be slightly buffed. We'll land in some middle ground between the metas of Season 8 and Season 9. The standard punish of full clearing into invading the enemy's opposite side respawning camps is completely dead, so expect to be fighting a lot more over both crabs or looking to really force for dives or ganks. Otherwise, you'll just have a lot of time to kill before you should be back on your first rotation of respawning camps. Comeback experience makes it a bit harder to play for your individual lead, and you should shift your priorities away from that to focus more on team-wide leads and map wins. Additionally, everyone will be at higher health during their clears, and objectives will be a lot more coin flip when Smite fighting. Overall, this is a really interesting patch, and it's sure to shake up the meta quite a bit. Let us know in the comments below how you like the changes, and we'll see in a bit how right our gut instincts are. And remember, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Otherwise, you know the deal. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to keep up with the meta and get more premium guides with one goal in mind, helping you become a better player. We here at SkillCapped want to thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.